This advanced compression mixing technique I'm about to show you will give you an absolutely ridiculous smack to your drums, but it's used sometimes on a vocal as well, or any instrument you want to cut right through the track. The reason I call it secret is because I just don't see anyone talking about it anymore. Maybe I missed it, or more likely it's a lost technique that really only worked in the analog world until very recently. So I've made a change or two to adapt this advanced compression technique into the digital world so I can use it. But I'm going to show you step by step how you could set it up, how to dial it in, and how you could really add clarity, smack, and punch to your mix. Coming up. Hey, what's up? Arty here from the Skylab Music Group, bringing you the best pro tips and advice for music producers, artists, engineers, and singers to help you propel your music and your career up to the next level. On this channel, we do a lot of tips and strategy videos as well as tech reviews, so if you're new here, please subscribe and ring the bell so you won't miss out on any new content. All right, so let's jump into the video. As a New York mix engineer back in the golden days of recording studios, this was a technique that me and other mix engineers very often used, but it really only worked with a DBX160 A or 160X compressor. And in every major world-class recording studio like the Hit Factory, Sony, Record Plant, Quad, you'd see at least two of these bad boys in the rack in every room. I hear some people referring to a similar technique with parallel compression as the New York compression trick. Yet I don't see anybody actually doing it quite the way that we all did it back then. But then the computer came along and finally ate the entire recording studio, and we all left the analog world and started mixing in the box. And because we didn't have this specific analog compressor, we stopped using that technique. I've tried at least a dozen different plug-in compressors through the years, and none ever did the job until the DBX160 plug-in came out, which comes close. Look at this vintage compressor. The DBX161, built around 1971. And though I've sold most of my analog gear at this point, there are just some pieces I can't seem to part with, this being one of them. So what makes this compressor so special? It's a VCA-based compressor with a hard knee, which means that once you pass that threshold, the compressor is clamping down hard on that signal. And it basically does that like no other compressor. And we can manipulate that into what we call extreme compression, or what I also like to call that fish slap sound. You know, when you take a fish and you smack it against the cedar plank? Yeah, that sound. So let's dive into the computer and go fishing. So the DBX160BU, as we'd call it, wouldn't give us the full smack of the other units like the 160X or 160A. But we're going to use it to get us partially there, and then use a transient shaper, the Waves Transient wide, to take us the rest of the way. So in this case, what we're going for is to be able to increase the level of how hard the drums sound like they're being smacked, and to add a clarity that cuts right through even the most dense mix. So I'm going to show you two different examples, first with the kick drum and second with a percussion loop. Okay, so first I'm going to play a piece of this track just so you get an idea of what we're going to be working with. So we're going to be concentrating on the kick drum and on the percussion. So first we're going to select the kick drum, and we're going to put a send on. I'm going to take bus 17 that we already have set up. I'm going to bring the volume up to 0 for the output. Now we're going to select the return and solo it. And now we're going to add the DBX160 across the insert. Okay, let's bring the volume up all the way, bring the threshold down all the way, and then we're going to start bringing up the compression ratio to about 17 or 18. So we're getting that nice little smack out of it that you can hear. This is just the return we're listening to. Now we're going to add the transient shaper, the Trans-X wide, and we're going to start bringing the range up over there to about 15 or so to really give it that smack. Now we're going to bring the trim up to about 12 or so. And if it peaks out, it's fine. That little clip is our friend in this case. Okay, so let's bring the volume all the way down, solo the kick drum, and then we're going to add it in slowly. Okay, we're going to exaggerate it just so we could really hear it together. Bring it back down. About there. Without it. With it. Okay, let's take it out of solo and hear it in the track. Let's with it off. on. You really listen, you can really hear how it adds presence to the kick. It really cuts through the track. So let's mute it for now and work on the percussion, timbales. Okay, that's timbales by themselves. Then we're going to add bus 18. We already have that send and return set up. So we're going to pop the DBX160 on there now. Let's close that other one. Now we're putting on the transient shaper to give it that pop again. And then I added a gate, an expander, using the BX console. That just cleaned things up a little bit, made it a little bit tighter. So now let's solo just the return. And listen to that click, bring that up a little bit. Now let's add the timbale, the original timbale with it. That's by itself. And now we're adding that extreme compression in. Hear it in the track. Okay, that's in. Out. Back in. Okay, now we're going to A-B both mixes side by side. So listen to the mix now without the compressors on. With both of the compressors on. So as you can see, nothing quite works the way the DBX160 does for this particular technique. Not even the DBX160 plugin. But combined with the transient shaper, we're able to achieve that sound once again. So if you want to try this technique on your mixes, you can just download the demo from Waves and try it out and see if it works for you. But please use the link below, which will save you 10%. So thanks for tuning in. We hope you learned a few things here about extreme compression. Have you found other compressors that can also achieve this sound? Because if you did, I'd love to hear, as well as everyone else. So please share your thoughts and any questions in the comments below. Thanks for checking out this video. And for more music production and mixing videos just like this, please subscribe below. Until next time, Skylab Music is bringing you the best pro tips and tools for growing your music career. So play it louder, and we'll talk soon.